Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Unearth, or On the Earth here. Cast and crew information down below, and let's start off with this IMDb plot. Lots to be said here. A fracking horror story. Unearth follows two neighboring farm families whose relationships are strained when one of them chooses to lease their land to an oil and gas company. In the midst of growing tension, the land is drilled and something long dormant and terrifying deep beneath the Earth's surface is released. Unearth is about the horrifying repercussions sown by short-sighted decisions and what our children reap from our actions. So, like I said, a lot to say there. Yeah, that's basically it. So that's it for this review. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this movie is obviously... you got the title on Earth. I talk sometimes about these titles. I think I just did a video review talking about a title and what expectations you get from it. So with a movie like Unearth, obviously, you're going to assume something is going to be happening with nature here, and it certainly does. As it says right there, they're obviously, trying to make a point about fracking here. I'm not going to get into the details of what that is, what that entails. Look it up. It may affect you more closely, may not. Kind of affects us all because it is the environment, and that's basically all I'll say about that. But here, as far as the story and what's going to happen here, they spend a good amount of time early on with two families, and getting to see different members of the family. You're probably going to see maybe one or two fall a little bit closer than others, but you are going to see the different aspects of these families, the different family members, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, babies, and so forth on each side, and a little bit of differences. So you're going to have one family that's kind of held on a little bit better, and then another family that hasn't. Another family that's really, really struggling, trying everything they can to hold on to their farm, to hold on to their land, to hold on to their jobs. Young teen here has a baby, obviously way before her time that she should have. So that's an extra stress. A father who's doing an auto body shop, but previously he's been relying on a lot of the local community to bring their cars to him and fix, and now that's just not the case for A, B, or C reasons. Some people are taking their cars elsewhere, maybe bigger firms. It seems like maybe this area is now being seen by the world, and the world is moving into it. Some other people are taking their cars to maybe bigger services, bigger places of business, and so he's really trying, and so they really do a good job here of painting the picture of the two families and the struggles, and maybe it's relatable to some people out there, maybe it's not. It depends on your situations, especially coming off coronavirus. If you're one of those who kind of lost their job or had to quit because of ABC reasons, and maybe you've struggled financially, maybe you can kind of relate a little bit to this family here who's going through a struggle of their own, and kind of holding on. So they do a lot of that early on, and that kind of leaves the horror to the back half of the movie. So you're going to have to, just put up with it. And I guess as I was watching, I was kind of like, when's the horror going to finally come? When are we going to get to this? For a second, I thought, was it ever going to come? Not that there's anything bad. The acting is fine, whatever, but, I think you kind of get the point of what's happening here, and you just wanted to see something happen maybe sooner. So yeah, the family eventually basically has no choice. I mean, they just left with a bad situation, a bad hand dealt to them, and they end up leasing part of their land to this oil and gas company. So eventually you're going to see, trucks move into their lands and start going to work and so forth, and start making a mess. And this is what springs the horror here. As they continue to then kind of show you the two families and the directions, and some of them are, one of the things they do is the family that's still a little bit better off kind of offers, makes an offer to lease some of the land themselves, but kind of at a price that they weren't happy with, or they thought they were just being taken advantage of. So that kind of sets off a little bit of friction there. So maybe things are all said, and then there's another issue going on between, I guess, two members of the family, or actually, and then maybe later a third. Let's just say romantically. I'm not gonna spoil anything there, but I guess there's some inner workings as far as that as well. So you're having all different reasons for this families to maybe want to help each other in one way and not help each other. They're going to do a good job of love-hate there before the horror even gets there. So as they continue as the trucks come in and start doing the work, you're still going to see a lot of these interactions between the two families, and then every once in a while they kind of give you a shot of the earth being moved, and maybe something's coming through and something is not right there. And they do that, and then you wait, and then they do that and wait, and then finally somebody kind of gets sick, and finally somebody starts to act a little weird. And then to me, I kind of got that, like that in the Crazies where, somebody kind of turned, and then it was because of an environmental event, and the plane crashed, and then it was in the water. And then that person kind of started acting weird, and then all of a sudden, before they knew it, they just wanted to kill you, and then they would kill themselves or whatever. And kind of got that same kind of vibe here. Like, the one person kind of got sick, and then I was like, oh no, I'm not sick, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. And then before you knew it, they just started changing, and they went crazy. Then the next person, and the next person, and then before you know it, these two families and maybe a few other people that were sprinkled in here are all starting to feel the effects of what has just happened. And they're never going to paint a happy picture here. This is all downhill, especially for this family. I'm not going to spoil other things, but there are more bad things kind of happen to this family besides the horror. Before the horror, the true horror of the movie comes in, what we horror fans come to see before that even comes in. This family's just not catching a break on all avenues here, and all the way through. And so you're really going to feel bad for them. And then the horror comes in, and obviously you're really going to feel bad. But you're really not going to know too much about what is happening to them. Obviously something's happening on the earth. Obviously something's changing these people and making them kill themselves, kill each other. And I would say you really, really have to wait for it, and you really have to be patient. But they do a pretty good job when it finally gets to that part. The horror is enjoyable, what they do, the fighting, and some of that. That is good. And is it worth the wait? I don't know. I very well could see maybe some people turning it off if they're just not totally interested in waiting that long. But I think when it finally gets there, they did a good job. Does that make the whole movie worth seeing? That's a hard call. I think that's a call that everybody's going to have to make on their own. Like I said, obviously the point of the movie is fracking here. And I think at the end of the day, obviously they paint that is not a good idea to begin with, and it is not a good idea to mess with the earth because you never know what you're going to get. And we've seen these kind of horror movies before, maybe not with an environmental message, but you start messing with stuff, you unleash something, and nothing good happens. So you kind of get that in this movie too. But again, it's a lot of family driven, the two sides and the two comparisons, and a lot of the family drama. It does say here on IMDb, drama first, then horror, and I think that's the perfect way to go about it. You're going to get a lot of drama, and then the horror to finish it off. So does the horror at the end outweigh the drama in the beginning? Tough call. I think they do a good job with it, with some of the deaths and some of the things that happen there. But yeah, there's just a lot of drama to begin with, and I think that's really largely why I'm going to give it 2.2 pools of blood out of 5, because it's so heavy drama early on. Maybe if they'd started the fracking earlier, maybe started another death or two earlier, or somewhere along the line there sprinkled in, maybe that could have changed it. And since, like I said, they did a good job, it would have been nice to see a little bit more sooner. But it is what it is, and you're definitely going to feel sorry for the families and so forth, and what they go through. But yeah, 2 pools of blood for this one, and that'll be about it. So yeah, don't frack, and don't trust the oil and gas companies either. The additional message there. 2 pools of blood for this one. And with that, horrorsgoryreviews.blogspot.com is where you can find more reviews, written reviews, of course. If you're looking for that kind of thing, there's tons of reviews on there that are just written. I advise you to check them out. A lot of different stuff going on there, a lot of new stuff as well. Twitter, Facebook down below as well. That's where you can reach me. Talk about this movie, talk about other movies, talk horror. You want me to review something, you can find me there. Please subscribe to this channel, support the videos. Just trying to put more horror out there as much as can be. And yeah, with that, I'm going to leave that and find another environmental issue to take up. And I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.